In BIM360, we also have the BIM360 viewer to view our Revit models. By simply selecting the Revit model within the folder, this will take us into the BIM360 viewer. At the bottom of the screen, we have a viewer toolbar with a range of different tools that will help us investigate and interrogate this building model. The first tool that's currently activated is the orbit control. This allows us to orbit the building model on screen. Simply holding left click on your mouse, you can orbit the building model. We can also use the pan feature within this viewer by holding down the right click. This will allow us to pan the building model at the current scale. If we wish to go into a bespoke pan mode, we can simply select the second tool. This will take us into pan mode where we cannot orbit the building. However, it's much easier to always be in the orbit mode with a left click and then use the right click on your mouse to pan the building model. The third tool on the viewer toolbar is the zoom window tool. By selecting this tool, this allows us to select an area on screen that we can zoom in for closer interrogation. Here I'm going to zoom in on the front entrance. Simply left click and dragging to create a viewer rectangular window will automatically zoom the model to this area. The fourth tool is the fit to view tool. This will automatically zoom the building out to its extents. We can use this in conjunction with object selection. Here I'm going to select the roof of the building. Then I choose fit to window and BIM360 will automatically zoom to that area of the building. We also have a first person mode. By selecting this tool, BIM360 will show us keyboard controls that allows us to navigate around the building model. It's good practice at the start to learn these key controls so that you can easily navigate in first person. Simply using the arrow keys or the ASDW letter keys on your keyboard allow you to walk about. We can go up and down based upon the nearest floor using the Q and E letters. We also have the ability to increase the speed and run round the model by using a direction key and the shift button. We can also teleport by double clicking on a destination, and using the left drag we can look around the building model. We also have a quick control to adjust the speed of the first person mode. If you're happy with the controls, simply select OK. When in first person mode, using the controls shown on screen, we can simply navigate around the building. Here I've entered into the lobby area. As you can see, I can navigate and look around the complete building. You will also note that when in first person mode, we also have a mini-map located at the top right of the screen. This mini-map shows a beacon and a field of view site so we can actually see where we are in relation to the complete building model. The mini-map also allows us the ability to teleport between the levels of the building. Here if I select the ground floor drop down, I can change to top of the atrium roof. By doing this, this will move the field of view so that I'm now on top of the building on the roof section within the first person mode. To return down to the ground floor, simply scroll the list and select the level. We have now returned back down to the ground floor where we can continue to navigate and explore the building model. The viewer also offers us a range of measure and section analysis tools. On the second part of the toolbar, we have a measure button. By selecting this, we can control and measure distances and angles within the building model. To simply measure a distance, zoom in on the particular area and you will see that BIM360 Viewer offers us a range of snap points. I'm going to measure the length of this roof, so I'm going to select the end point here, and you can see as I start to measure, BIM360 is measuring that distance. Here you can see that it's 26 foot 4 inches long. If I'm happy with the measurement, I can select Done. To repeat an angle measurement, I can select the Measure toolbar, then choose the Angle setting. Here I can select a point at the top, then at the corner of the roof, and then I can point it back towards the building. Here you will see I've measured a 90-degree angle. The Measure toolbar also has some measure settings. By selecting this control, we can adjust the unit type, precision, and also options to isolate and enable free measure. The BIM360 viewer also gives us a range of section analysis tools. By selecting the section analysis flyout, we can choose different orientations for the section plane. Starting with adding a Y-plane, simply select the toggle on and it will add a Y-plane section to the model. Using the gizmo, we can drag this section plane along the building to show the required information that we need. By zooming in on the model, you will see that you can cut a plane right through that building model. By selecting the section analysis tool again, we can change the orientation of that plane. Selecting the flyout, we can now switch it to an X-plane. Again, we can use the gizmo control to slide this along the building. Whilst utilising the gizmo, we can also hover over and change the orientation angle of that particular section cut. It's important to note that the section analysis tools applied in the viewer do not reflect changes back in the Revit model. BIM360 also gives us a split view mode. By selecting this control, it will split the view into a 2D and 3D area. We have a control at the centre of the screen to adjust the ratio of these views. By selecting an object in the 2D view, this will automatically zoom the 3D view to this area. By selecting the double door at the front of the building, BIM360 will automatically zoom to that area. Whilst reviewing models, we also have the ability to view previous versions. By selecting the History button on the left-hand toolbar, we can simply go in and choose different versions to view. Here you will see that version 2 is the current drawing, but I can switch back to version 1 by left-clicking, and this will then show me the model view of version 1. When viewing the version history of a document, we can also use the Compare feature on the viewing toolbar. Simply select the Compare option. Here I'm going to compare version 1 against version 2 of the document. Simply click Compare to compare the features between the two different documents. Within the Compare mode, BIM360 will now report the changes, the modifications and the removals to the objects within the viewer. The viewer also gives us a model browser. By selecting the model browser control, it will launch the model browser on the left side of the screen. Here you will see the model is then split by category, where we can control each individual item's visibility. If I wish to turn off the walls, I can select the visibility control to simply remove all the walls from the building. This will put all the walls into a transparent mode. I can do this for the roof, rooms, doors, windows. I can drill down into each object as well and select it based upon its individual type and component ID. I can also search for items within the model browser. If I wish to search for a sink component, I can select sink and the model browser will return a list of all the items. Here I can select one from the list and I can simply turn off its visibility using the search. I also have a properties palette where I can control and check each item's properties. By selecting an item within the BIM360 viewer, I can simply view its particular properties. Here I'm going to select the front door and you will see that it tells me this is a curtain wall storefront. I can scroll down the properties to see each individual piece of metadata relating to that item. Within the viewer there are also a range of settings for appearance and environment. By selecting the settings cog, I can go into the settings. Here I've got some settings for configuration, navigation controls and appearance. Under the navigation tab, it's good to note that we have an option to mimic the Revit mouse control settings. Under the zoom options, there is an option here to reverse the mouse zoom direction. Toggling this on will mimic the way BIM360 viewer works, the same as your Revit. Looking at the visual optimization quality, you can turn on ambient shadows, ground shadows and a ground reflection. Within the environment tab, we can also control and set up different environments. Within the environment option, I can change the environment and lighting selection. By changing this to the infinity pool option, it will update and change the environment in which you see the BIM360 viewer. If you're not happy with your selection, you can scroll to the bottom and you can restore all the defaults within the environment. This will reset it back to the default viewer. The last control is the full screen option. Selecting this will enable the viewer into a full screen mode. To go back to the standard viewer mode, simply select the full screen option again.